Oh, we live? Oh, this is very exciting
What's that?
that we're here
It is
as
exciting.
opposed to not. Right, Bill? That's right.
That's right. I haven't played with Bill at services it's been quite a while.
Wow. I
Right?
didn't even think about that.
Isn't this our first service? That's true.
Oh,
That's true. We did do the high holidays.
Well done, Bill. Well
we filmed
done.
those 2 months ago.
No,
also.
what are you talking about? Those were live.
No, yes, they were shown live.
they were shown live, yes. Are we good? Oh, fantastic. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Cantor Gurney, Bill Beck.
And Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, Chag Sukkot Sameach. This is, as you can see, we're actually on campus. We are actually on campus celebrating Shabbat and celebrating the beginning of Sukkot in our very own Wilshire Boulevard Temple family Sukkah. This is just fantastic and wonderful to be back here. My favorite part that I'm so excited about is being able to sing with you guys. This is going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
At least for me.
Oh, for me too, for Bill, and for everyone out there watching us, right?
So why don't we open with a little Hine Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How wonderful it is that we get to be here together as friends and family.
Yeah, that has a point in power tonight. Let's all join together.
Hine Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה יאללה יאללה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה יאללה יאללה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. All right, so in a moment, we're going to be bringing on Jasmine and her family to celebrate for her bat mitzvah and light our festival, Shabbat, candles, and kiddush, motzi. And I said, actually, it's festival, candles, and Shabbat, which means, right, for those of you who may have downloaded the prayer book or are looking at the prayer book online, we're actually not using our usual Shabbat prayer book. Is that right, Cantor Gurney?
That's correct. We're using the prayer book for our purposes for the festivals.
For festivals.
Now that you mentioned that, Rabbi Asher, that you're going to hear a number of melodies tonight that are not our normal Shabbat melodies, but they're the appropriate melodies for the festival. And the rule is, whichever happens less frequently, that's the occasion that takes precedence. Right? So Shabbat happens every week, but Sukkot only once a year. So a lot of our core prayers tonight, Baruch Hu, Michamocha, a few others, you're going to hear a different melody that is the appropriate and traditional one for Sukkot.
Fabulous. And the page numbers that I will be referring to are the ones from our festival prayer book. So with that, why don't we bring on Jasmine and her family? Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it. Big waves. Mazel, 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 mazel. Look at that challah. That looks like a fabulous challah. Amazing challah. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Cantor Gurney, we're going to be on page 120. We're going to start with our candles. Jasmine and her family are going to be lighting our candles, but Cantor Gurney will be chanting for all of us.
All right. All right, so we can light those candles.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Beautiful.
And we bring the light in as we sing our blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Beautiful. And now we raise our glasses. There it is. Beautiful Kiddush cup.
And we join together in our festival Kiddush, page 122, if you have it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה שבתו למנוחה ומועדים לשמחה חגים וזמנים לששון את יום השבת הזה ואת יום חג הסוכות הזה זמן שמחתנו באהבה מקרא הקודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת ומועדי קודשך באהבה וברצון בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת בישראל והזמנים.
L'chaim. Take a sip, take a
And
sip.
on our festival, we include the Shehecheyanu for the firsts of firsts. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higi'anu lazaman hazeh.
Beautiful. Do you want to grab onto that challah or you want to wait on the challah? What do you
I
think?
would love to grab that.
Oh, well, grab onto that beautiful challah right there. Oh, yeah. Look at yeah, where'd he go? Oh, that's not funny. Never mess with a person's challah like that. That's not nice.
Don't mess with my
Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Oh, you grab a bite. There you go. Beautiful. Shabbat shalom. Chag sameach. So let's all wave goodbye to Jasmine and her family. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. I can't wait to hear all about it. Mazel tov. Beautiful. So now, in celebration in honor of Sukkot, this is very exciting, right? As the sun is setting, it has yet to set, which is good. We are going to shake our lulav and etrog, welcoming in Sukkot. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Just want to, maybe Cantor Gurney, can you hold that up? Yeah, it's bringing it over. Look at that. Fantastic. All right. So one of the beautiful teachings about our lulav and our etrog is that it represents also very important parts of our body, right? We look at the palm frond. We have the palm frond right there, like the straightness and strength of our spine, right? We also have the willow leaf there, the willow branch and willow leaf over there, where we represents our mouths, right? That we use our words to praise God and to use them for kindness and goodness. And the myrtle representing our eyes, seeing the rightness and goodness in the world. And last but certainly not least, we have our etrog, representing our heart and putting our whole heart, our whole selves, our whole body into everything that we do, which that's a little tease into what we're going to talk about a little bit later. So we're going to hold on to that. But with that, let's continue with bracha and shaking of our lulav and etrog.
So in a moment, we'll shake together, but first, a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. And our second blessing, on the first night of waving, our Shehecheyanu once again. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hi'anu lazman hazeh.
Amen. So in a moment, we're actually going to continue right in with Kabbalat Shabbat with Mizmor Shir. We're going to be on page 126. And we're not, correct me if I'm wrong, Cantor Gurney, we are not going to be singing Lecha Dodi tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct. The sages made a decision centuries ago that when the festival occurs on Shabbat, that we would do a shortened version of the Kabbalat Shabbat Psalms. One of them is this Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir. We acknowledge the Shabbat, but perhaps they were also being practical as well, right? Because it is a festival and people need to be home to have their festival meals and eat in the Sukkah. And so Lecha Dodi and the other Psalms of the Kabbalat Shabbat section are omitted. And we continue now with Mizmor Shir. It is good to give thanks to God and to sing God's praises. Let's all join together.
Page 126.
Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la. Tov lehodot Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך, במעשה ידך ארנן. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. מזמור, מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. לי 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 לי
We now continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. We're on page 130.
המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד, המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
The bottom of page 133. For Sukkot. The colors of early evening sky blend and deepen, allowing new lights to be seen, twinkling through the branches, the promise that in darkness, new light will be revealed. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Amen.
We now continue with Ahavat Olam. We're going to read together, if you want to read with me.
I'd love
We're
to.
on page 134 in the middle. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them. For they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
For they are the length of our days. We join in Kihem Chayenu. Kihem Chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehei yomam v'layla. 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 ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
We continue with Ve'avta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's read together at the bottom of page 140. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrant's fist. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. We continue with Mi Chamocha.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati hilot, osefel, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Eli, Anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed ve'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Israel.
Amen. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter, our sukkah from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Blessed is the guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world.
Let's all join in our beautiful song of peace and acknowledge the shelter of the sukkah. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. אמן. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ועל ירושלים. We join in Vishamra. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים, את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת, שבת, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Beautiful. We continue now with the Amidah. If you have a prayer book with you, we're on page 204.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, כומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
We now continue with moments of silent and personal reflection. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Chag Sukkot Sameach. I don't know about you, Cantor Gurney, but always at the end of Neila, right? When we are there, and it feels there's a lot of like it's tense, and the language of our machzor, right, is so dense at the end. There's a lot of words there, and we're trying to move through them so quickly, and it's like instilling this fear almost. Right? Why? Because we know that the gates are closing. We're telling the gates are closing. The gates are closing. And during that time when the gates are closing, we're thinking to ourselves, I'm making all these commitments to myself. I'm making all these promises to myself. I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to do better. Right? And we're like, oh God, am I going to be able to do this? The gates are closing. The gates are closing. And will I be written in the book of life or not? What do I need to do, right, to work through the decree? And we make all these promises to ourselves that we're going to do it. The gates are closing. That's a lot of pressure, and it's really tense for me, right up there, because I haven't eaten, I'm sweating, right, and I got that
of stress.
A lot of stress.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I take a deep breath, right? I make my way home to my family. Have a bagel, right? Some bagels, some lox.
What do you put on that bagel? Lox? You have a little
Cream cheese
with the
cream
lox
cheese
as well?
lox. Cream cheese lox. Cream cheese lox.
I like to know these things
No,
about
cream cheese lox.
My fellow
but also,
Jews.
my wife makes this amazing like egg casserole thing with the challah and the eggs and the cream cheese all like baked in together, and it's just ridiculous and delicious. So I have a little bit of that. Breathe. Cup of coffee. I know it's late at night, but I still need that coffee because to help me out with my headache, kind of thing. Get to say goodbye to our friends, our family. And next morning, what's the first thing I'm doing? First thing I'm doing, busting out that sukkah right away, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? That's the tradition. That as soon as you finish that bagel, you're supposed to start building that sukkah, right?
I believe it says that in the Talmud. Actually, there's
when you finish the bagel, you start building the sukkah.
That's right.
Right? That's what it says in the Talmud. Mm-hmm. But in all seriousness, what's really beautiful about that teaching that I learned from the rabbis, that in fact, when Yom Kippur is ending, the gates aren't actually closed at the end. Hence, the gates are not closed. They don't actually really begin to close until we're through Sukkot. And I think this is on purpose. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And here's why I think that. Because we make these promises to ourselves during Yom Kippur, during the high holy days, the 10 days, that we want to be better, we want to do better. And what does that mean, right? In Teshuvah and Shuvah, when we're returning to our relationships, returning to the people who we love, right? Returning to the people who maybe we don't get along with so well, but we know that we have to fix these relationships to get that, to change that, right? Whether that's our personal relationships, our professional relationships, and we all go through that, right? I guarantee that everybody sitting there together at home or when we are in the sanctuary is thinking the same thing. Who do I need to reach out to? How do I fix this, right? Who do I need to reach out to? I know I do. I know I do. I think about this. And then, Cantor Gurney, it can be so easy, right? And not out of like a desire or a lack of desire to actually get to work, but it could be so easy. We get home, we have our meal, and then we start the next day. And for many of us, right, we have to go right back into to our lives, right? Whether it's working, whether it's school, whatever it is, we have to jump right back into that pattern, right? Out of necessity. And without something to kind of give us that jump start, right, to shake us out of the beginning of a slumber, to keep us awake, here comes Sukkot. Mm-hmm. Right? It's beautiful. And what is it? The main thing that we're supposed to do, one of the main mitzvot that we do for Sukkot, right, is that we invite the ushpizin, or the guests. Mm-hmm. We invite guests into our sukkah, right, to eat with them, blessings with them, spend time with them. It's perfect, right? Sukkot gives us that nudge that we need to start reaching out to the people in our lives that we need to work on those relationships. We can even invite them. Could you imagine that? Invite them to our homes to sit under the sukkah, eat together, speak, start building memories, and mending relationships. Not even just mending them, right? But strengthening relationships, creating those beautiful memories, right? That's why it's brilliant. So the gates aren't closed because we still have that opportunity, right? And when we say during Elul, Cantor Gurney, when we blow the shofar, what do we say the shofar is supposed to do? It's supposed to wake us from our slumber, right? Whoa, okay. Well, what do we do on Sukkot that can also help wake us from that slumber, right? What do we say? We talked about, gave you a little taste, the lulav and the etrog, right? Representing our bodies, right? The spine from the palm frond, the eyes with the myrtle, and the lips from the willow, right? And the heart from the etrog. And it's shaking us, right? When we shake it, was like, hey, right? Shaking us. Remember all those promises that you made? Now's the time to get started. I'm giving you the opportunity. Here's Sukkot. Invite the people over. Let's start doing this work, right? It's shaking us. And it's not just shaking a part of us. It's saying, put your whole self into that returning. Put your whole self, right? Your heart, the spine, the lips, the eyes, everything. Put your whole self into that returning, because those gates haven't closed yet, right? So, Cantor Gurney, and for all of us watching and here with us today, my Shabbat and Sukkot blessing for you, for us, for me, for all of us, is that we take this beautiful opportunity that we've been given of Sukkot to shake ourselves from the beginning of a slumber, right? To actually go out, give us that opportunity to go out and start doing the work that we know needs to be done. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and
Shabbat
Chag
Shalom,
Sukkot.
David, and Chag Sameach. Thank you. That was inspiring and challenging, and inspiring us to think, right? That's a wonderful notion. Yes, we do come through those holidays exhausted. We know we're supposed to be changing ourselves.
Yeah.
And Sukkot is an active way of doing that, and it's also filled with joy and celebration.
It's the best.
Right?
It's the best.
And I do want to share with everyone watching that there are some, in addition to some of the different melodies you heard that are unique to the festivals, the three festivals, we call them Shalosh Regalim. First of the year, of course, is Sukkot. And then in the spring, we have Pesach, Passover, and then Shavuot. And each of those festivals have a unique collection of liturgy that help to mark them and make them special. And I don't know if you know this, but there is a group of texts in our tradition in the Hebrew Bible known as the five scrolls. 5 scrolls. Now, for most of us, I think we only are aware of 2 scrolls, perhaps. The Torah scroll and the scroll of Esther. But in fact, at a certain time in our history, obviously everything was in scroll form, but there are 5 scrolls. And each one of those scrolls was attached to a certain Jewish holiday during the year and became part of that experience and was chanted on those holidays. So in addition to Megillat Esther on Purim, on Sukkot, we read from the book of Ecclesiastes, in Hebrew, Kohelet. It's a very Hellenistic Greek-Roman philosophy, and it's a puzzling and challenging and sometimes dark text about the futility of life. But there is this beautiful passage of poetry that everything and every time has its season under the heaven. A time to laugh and a time to cry, a time for birth and a time for death. And so on this Erev Sukkot, I'll offer this beautiful setting of that text, La Kol Zaman, by one of our great synagogue composers of the last 50 years, Ben Steinberg. So please enjoy.
La kol zaman v'yet l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim. La kol zaman v'yet l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim. Et la ladet, et la mut, et la tat, et la kornatua, et la harog, et l'irpo, et livrot, et livnot. La kol zman, et la kol chefetz, tachat hashamayim. La kol zman, et la kol chefetz, tachat hashamayim. A time for birth and a time for death, a time to plant and a time to uproot the planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear and a time to build. La kol zaman v'yet l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cantor Gurney. We're now going to take the opportunity to think about those in our lives, in our families, in our community who may be in need of healing, whether that's physical healing or spiritual healing or mental healing. If you are thinking of anyone today, I invite you to say those names in your hearts, or you may also, if you would like to share with the community, you can enter those names into the chat as well. And with that, we continue with a Misha Berach prayer for healing.
Misha Berach avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag
Chag
Sameach.
Sameach, Chag Sukkot Sameach. So before we continue, just a few, there it is. Just a few brief announcements. There's actually like a ton of announcements, but I'm not going to give them to you all because otherwise we'll be here until the end of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, and
That's true.
Simchat
Yeah,
Torah.
well,
But that's
just enough to the end of Sukkot.
Right,
That's all.
because
We're not going past Sukkot.
my friends, we have so much coming up. We have a special Simchat Torah celebration that we're going to be doing. There's actually 2 events happening next Sunday. Not this coming Sunday, not tomorrow, not this coming Sunday, but
Right.
the following Sunday. And so just keep an eye out. There's a 5 o'clock. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. We've got a 5 to 6, the teaching, music, and chanting from the Torah, where
Who knew? We had a prompter.
your rabbis and cantors will be
All along.
offering some beautiful teachings from some of their favorite pieces of Torah. And then later on in the evening at 7 o'clock, beautiful documentary screening of Commandments 613, followed by live Q&A. And what is it? The writing of the Torah and the scrolls and scribes. It's going to be really special. So you could see that it goes from 5 to 6 is the first part, 7 to 8. So in between, make sure you eat some dinner, right? We're giving you that time to eat some dinner. But also, Sukkot Shabbat next week, right? Next Friday night will be from our Sukkot as well.
That's correct. Yeah.
Whether
Beautiful.
here or from our homes and
Mhm.
all over the place. And then Shabbat morning, Yizkor, right? Will be
That's correct. I know Rabbi Leader and I will be leading the congregational service that morning for Shmini Atzeret, which includes Yizkor prayers.
great. And also be on the lookout for all the fall classes. Can you believe it? All of the fall learning opportunities that we have at Wilshire Boulevard Temple are also going to be coming out very, very soon. So please, please, please check the website and look out in your emails. You're going to get the Wilshire Daily emails and the Wilshire Weekly emails with all the information that you're going to need. It's very, very exciting. It's going to be proven to be a very exciting fall into the winter season of wonderful learning and community here at Wilshire Boulevard Temple. Also, we want to wish big Mazel Tov to Jasmine. It's going to be awesome. Mazel Tov on your bat mitzvah, and good luck tomorrow. Though you don't need it, it's going to be very special and wonderful. Bill Beck, thank you so much. Oh, Bill, it's so great to be back here with you.
It is indeed.
Love it. And our tech team behind the scenes who are helping us out and making sure that you can see us and hear us and all the wonderful computer opportunities that we have. So thank you, fellas. Thank you, Jess. And with that, I think we're pretty good. Fabulous. Let's turn now. If you have a book, we're on page 322, and we're bringing back Aleinu, people. Here we go, page 322.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומונים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר בחיית אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא שמו אחד.
We now take the time to think about those in our lives, in our community, our families who have died during the past 30 days, the past shloshim. Al Fincy, Melvin Fischler, Marjorie Zash Flicker, Arthur Frankel, Randall Randy Gingold, the Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sandra Moss Hyman, Judd McGilnick, Lily Markowitz, Seymour Nadelman, Lori Opper, Margaret Peggy Phillips, Irene Stein. We also remember all of those who the memorial of their death, the yahrzeit of their death, fell during this past week. Arthur Adler, Joan Adler, Louise Baer, Norman Bailey, Harry Bender, Lenore Berkowitz, Max Berman, Sam Bernstein, Gerald Blankford, Norman Bloom, Bernhard Bonwit, Pearl Borenstein, Robert Boren, Miriam Bransky, Edward Brooks, Stanley Brown, May Brussel, Mayor Cohen, Henrietta Colton, Max Cutler, Hector Del Sol, Jean Dreisen, Abraham Drodge, Rose Ehrlich, Doris Epstein, Albert Azor, Jordan Feldman, Helen Figlin, Marvin Fishman, Frank Freeman, Marlene Friedman, Ray Friedman, Carol Gantz, Dorothy Gavin, Harold Gelfand, Lillian Gelfand, Beverly Gersh, Shirley Gertz, Ruth Gitlin, William Glick, Richard Goldman, Madeline Goodwin, Ben Gordon, Jules Gordon, Nathan Gordon, Erna Heller, Brenda Hill, Ann Jenkins, Florence Katz, Claudine Keith, Evelyn Klappholz, Henrietta Klein, Sheldon Kramer, Gloria Lash, Grace Laxanetta, Gregory Legion, Cy Lieberman, Marcia Lindy, Judy Madwin, Art Mandelbaum, Helene Melvin, Doris Meyer, Laura Nadulman, John Pollock, Marcus Pollock, Les Preston, Henry Raff, Gloria Rappaport, Marvin Ratner, Dan Ross, Bernard Rubin, Ludmilla Scholes, Joseph Schwartzman, Paul Seltzer, Ruth Shakin, Rose Sills, Gregory Simon, Benjamin Sclaver, Jay Slotkin, Marjorie Slotkin, Ralph Snyder, Rudolph Stoff, Alan Stone, Jules Triton, Evelyn Tooch, Sorley Wagman, Fern Wallace, Miriam Webster, Mildred Ween, Shirley Wintrub, Warren Wolf, Sally Zeviner. We add to all of those names those who have died defending the United States of America, those who have died defending the state of Israel, all of those who have died from senseless acts of terror and hatred around the world, those who have died from COVID-19. We also add to those names those who have no one to say the mourner's Kaddish, the mourner's prayer for them. And finally, if you are thinking of anyone else today, or if I have mispronounced a name that you know of, please say those names in your hearts. Or if you would also like to share a name, you may share a name in the chat for the community to read. With that, we continue now with the Mourner's Kaddish. If you have a book, we're on page 334. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפעל ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלל מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Chag
everyone.
Sameach,
Chag
everyone.
Sameach. Shabbat shalom. All right.